Okay, let's go. This is game 2 of our round 7 review of the Modding Showcase Challenge. Unfortunately, against Amulet, we lost game 1, and now we're trying to rally back and take the match. Okay, so what do we have here? We're 1 mana away from Neoform. We don't have a dinosaur. We have a very slow path to a dinosaur. We have Death card here. I think we can do better here. Generally speaking, under London Mulligan, I'm very willing to be liberal about going down to 6 and even 5. So I'm hoping past me mulligan this, and I did. This is obviously very unkeepable. And now we have this hand. So it has everything we want except mana. And it even has a Dissenter's Deliverance to cycle, or Dissenter's Deliverance to kill a Grafdigger's Cage. I think that given those optionality that these two cards offer, I think this is actually a keep here. Like, for example, let's see. So we're on 5 right now. So the question we should be asking is, mathematically speaking, how often can we get to 2 lands in a timely manner versus measure that equity versus the equity of mulliganing to 4, 3, or 2. So there's 53 cards left. Oops. Number of population, we have 0 lands, so we have 15 lands remaining. We're on the play, so let's say that to be safe, we want to combo by turn 3. So that's 2 draw steps, and we need 2 lands. That's 7%. But I think realistically, we can still turn combo by turn 4 and still be okay. So let's give ourselves 3 draw steps. 19%. So the question is the EV higher by keeping these 5 and hitting a Grizzlebrand by turn 4 19% of the times, or is it higher by mulliganing them to 4? I think it may look foolish, but I actually think that keeping these 5 is correct. Especially because once we draw 1 land, we can actually cycle this, and we have a kill spell for a hate card like Grafdigger's Cage. So I actually think that this is a pretty clear keep on 5. And past me did agree. Fortunately, the opponent did mulligan to 5 as well, which is good. Hopefully they're not on a Grafdigger's Cage hand. So far not. I'm always lucky, so it was given that I was going to draw that land. Okay, now we're still going to hope that they're not on a Grafdigger's Cage hand. Okay, so they look to be on a Fast Amulet normal kill hand. Yep, none of these. Okay, this is a very good start. And a bounce land is going to allow them to produce a turn 3 Titan. So now we are most definitely going to cycle here. So we have 2 shots at drawing a land. And if we do, then, we're off the races. Miss, hit. Okay. So now we should be a big favorite to win this turn. So we even hit the Nourishing Shoal, which is great. So we're going to pitch these 2 and Neoform the Rider into a Grizzlebrand. So even though we kept 0 lands on 5, we are going to kill them on turn 3. So we drew twice. We have the worm, we have the shoal, we have another worm in the form of pact. So I would say that we're pretty dang likely to just kill. Like maybe even like a mathematical lock. Oh, just as a side note here, I did not boarding any pact negations, even though I believe that a lot of the amulet lists do play negates or mystical disputes or Aethergusts, and that's because I saw the Karn the Great Creator package in game 1, and a few people pointed out that with the Karn package, it's less likely that they have room for counterspells, which does make sense. So what I did was I just brought in the 2 Abrupt Decays and 2 Dissenter's Deliverance and took out the 4 Veil Summers. Basically paying no respect to counterspells. Back to the game here. I think we are pretty much a mathematical lock to finish up here. So we're going to game 15. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, so hopefully we do not hit a shoal, but we hit some mana, which is fine. We're going to gain 15 more. Gain 15. Draw 7. Wow, still no shoal. Let's do it again. Well, still no show. Okay, so now this is gonna get interesting. So let's see if we have a show or a children, just to make sure. And we don't. So now this is gonna be very interesting. So we know that of the 8 cards remaining, there's 2 nourishing shoals and there's 1 children of Corliss. We have Wild Canter and 3 Simian Spirit Guides here. 4 Simian Spirit Guides. So let's see if we can't thin the deck anymore with Summoner's Path. So by that, we're going to count the number of Autochthon Worm, Chancellor, and Allosaurus Riders already in play or in exile graveyard, and then reverse engineer how many are left. So we have 2 worms accounted for. We saw the Wild Cantor accounted for. So the rest of the green creatures should just be 4 Allosaurus Riders and 4 Chancellors. So we have 1 Rider here and 1 Chancellor here. So it's 1 on 1. 1 on 2 Chancellor. 3 on 2 Chancellor. 3 on 3 Chancellor. 4 on 3 Chancellor. So there's 1 Chancellor left right now. Okay. So we can thin the library by 1 with Summoner's Pact. The library will be at 7 cards left. And as a reminder, we have 2 Nourishing Shoal and 1 Children of Corliss. So we have 3 hits. And we should have 4 Metamorphos. Given that mana is not a constraint, it should be a lock, right? So we can get the library down to 7, and then we draw 4 times with Metamorphos. And even if we whiff on that, we can still cycle with Disinterest Deliverance and try to hit the shoal. So what I should do is, 1, to make it a mathematical certainty, is that first we should Summoner's Pact and thin the deck by 1 more. Okay, so as you can see here, we have 2 Nourishing Shoals and 1 Children of Corliss. So now we're down to 7 cards in the library. So I believe that the only one we can lose is if the 3 life gain spells are the very 3 bottom cards in the library. Not only that, the third from the bottom card in the library has to be Children of Corliss. That's because if we Metamorphose 4 times and still not get anything for life gain, we would have to cycle Disinterest Deliverance, which means that we will only have 3 mana for Laboratory Maniac. We don't have 1 mana for Children Corliss. So if the third from the bottom is exactly Children Corliss, and then the second and the very last card of the library is Nourishing Shoal, we can lose. But otherwise, I think we've given ourselves the best chance to win this game. So these are like weird like puzzle spots that you get into sometimes. You just have to know your deck list and how to manipulate the library very optimally here. So I believe we're just gonna spam Metamorphoses for days. So we're gonna make blue-white because of Laboratory Maniac and Children, and because we have 2 Simian Spirit Guides left to cast the other Metamorphoses, we can just make blue-white. Okay, we don't hit. We know there's no more green creatures to thin the library with, so we're just gonna play a Metamorphose again. I think it's good to leave us at least with a green. Eventually, we miss. We really should leave ourselves with at least something to recast Metamorphose with, but ideally green, so we don't forget, because green can cycle with Disinterest Deliverance. Wow. So literally 3 of the last 4 cards in the library are life gain spells. So if we miss on the next one, then we can possibly lose. Okay, let's make sure that we make green for cycling. Perfect. And we hit it. So just to reiterate, let's say this was a blank. We would then use one of the green here, cycle Disinterest Deliverance, and hope to hit 66%er at a Nourishing Shoal. If the very next card is a Children of Corliss, we lose because we don't have spare mana to cast the Laboratory Maniac. But now that we have this, the rest is going to be very elementary. We're just going to gain life, cast the Laboratory Maniac, and win. So what started as a that was definitely an up and down type of a game, right? We multi-5, we did not have a land when we kept the 5. We turned 3 comboed, we drew a few nursing shoals to start, didn't draw into any more life gain for the near future, and we had to sweat and possibly lose the game. Um, Even through like optimal library manipulation. So, anyways, that's game 2 of this it's a very interesting match between Amulet and Neoform. Now we're going to into the deciding third match of this round 7 of the Modern Showcase Challenge review. We'll see you then. Bye bye.